Welcome back to From the Ground Up in association with Fiverr. I'm Bianca and I'm going to be talking today about the journey of starting a business and thinking about your financial plan. Now, as I've said before, I'm not a big believer in big, arduous, huge business plans. Instead, I like to have quite a succinct plan, a canvas model, but also have a very clear financial plan. How much money do you need to make your idea and your vision a reality? And so if we think about that journey and we think about the sorts of people you might need to support you on that journey, it will help you to really think about your financial budget. Now, for me, if I think about my journey into this, I am very busy. I'm already running multiple businesses. I'm writing my third book. I mentor people, lots of things happening, right? So I don't have the time to take on all the additional elements that my new business might need. So instead, I want to make sure I have an expert team around me that can help me to make my business ideas a reality. And that is why the partnership with Fiverr is so great, because they have a plethora of experts, over 550 categories, over 100,000 people globally. And of course, they all are at different price points that you can utilize for your budget. So instead of me trying to do things myself and doing a bit of DIY, I like to get the right people on board to help me to build this business and build this brand. You, however, may have some expertise that you can utilize in building the brand, but I consider myself the person who looks at the vision. I will have the communication with all the different experts, but I need those experts to go away and do their job and do it extremely well. And that's kind of how I build businesses. So if we look at the different key things that I know that I will need in the business, what I first need to think about is, what is my overall budget? What is my overall investment into the business? How much can I afford to spend in this business to enable me to build the brand in the way that I want to? And look, you don't always have that perfect brand launch. You don't always build it or launch it in the way that is, everything that you want. You do as much as you can to get to market. That speed to market is important, to test the market, and then you can find more budget. You can work on more budget, and then you can actually increase different areas and do different things. But at the outset, what you want to do is start, right? Get started. So here are some things that I think are really important to earmark for your budget. So first, you want, of course, the branding. Branding is really important. When you think about the brand, that's the first thing that customers interact with. I am a personal brand expert, so I do a lot of work with clients on building their own personal brand and how they show up online. But it's also important to look at the company and the product brand. We look at branding as a concept. We use Apple as an example. I feel like I use Apple a lot. I should stop doing that. But we use Apple as an example. We have Apple as the company brand. The iPhone, the MacBook is a product brand, Steve Jobs being the personal brand. So if we look at that suite of brands, we need to think about that as an entrepreneur. What is our company brand? What does that stand for? What's the mission statement there? What is the product brand? How does the product identify itself with its customer? What problem does it solve? And you as the personal brand, what do you solve? What do you bring to the table as a personal brand? So if we now think about budgeting, how do we budget for these things? So I have created a list of the key consultants and freelancers I need in my expert team to help me to bring this brand to fruition. So I'm going to go through a few of these. So branding, of course, as I said. Then we've got web design. So I need someone who can create an e-commerce website. So an e-commerce website, of course, means that someone can buy from the website. So an e-commerce website. I need someone to write copy. So someone who can write the copy on the website, can talk about the brand identity, the mission, the values, and so on. That's going to be really important. I need someone who can do product photography or animation. So you think about when you go onto a website, the big hero image or banner at the top, the images that come out, the images you use on social media. Like, product imagery is very important in selling to a customer. So you want to make sure that product imagery is great. So that's important. Then I want to think about my search engine optimization. So it's all well and good having a website. A website is like a shop window. But if no one comes to visit your shop, then it's a bit of a waste of time. And so I want to have someone who can do the search engine optimization, who can look at the keywords and can ensure that I am ranked well on the search engines and that people are able to find the brand when they type in those keywords. Then we want to look at social media management. So someone who can manage the marketing on social media to make sure that the brand is being put out in the right ways, being marketed in the right way to the right customer, and really targeted messaging and so on. So that's social media management. I'm actually planning to start a TikTok. I know, I haven't got one yet. I need to. So I'm starting a TikTok. So I need someone who can do TikTok management. What else is there? So someone who can deal with the social, so the advertising. So once I decide to go on to like PPC and doing ad campaigns, it's called AdWords now, not PPC. That shows how old school I am. I need someone who can manage those ad campaigns on social media and on the search engines, and so on. And so it's about having that winning team. So I think it's really important to list out all the people you need, and then of course thinking about the things that you can do yourself. So for example, me having a VA helping me to do some of that research that I don't have time to do is going to help me to do the things that I'm good at. It's going to allow me back my time to focus on the things where I add value to the business. And so those are some of the things that I have to negotiate as I'm thinking about building this brand, and contacting all of those people and finding the right people on Fiverr who can join my winning team, but also who are within my budget for the whole investment in the business. In addition to that, of course, you need the money set aside for the actual product. It's all well and good you creating this exciting brand and website, but if you've got no product to sell, then of course you are at a dead end. And so I'm in a position where I'm now looking at getting and enlisting the right people into my expert team, but also building the other side of the business, which is getting the right product and getting it manufactured and so on. And so these are some of the things that you would need to consider. Now, I am lucky enough to be in a financial position with all my other incomes that I don't need to take an income from this business in its first year or so. But if you do need to take an income from the business, I would encourage you to do what I call a personal survival budget. So the personal survival budget basically lists out all of the things you need to pay for in order to survive. So that might be your rent or mortgage, it might be utility bills, it might be travel to work, all of those things you need to survive. And of course, put a little entertainment budget, a little fun money aside as well, so you're not, devastated by the whole starting of a business thing. But keep it at a minimum. So then you know what your survival budget is. So if you're employed, for example, and you've got your salary coming in, you've got your paycheck coming in, you're putting some money aside for your survival, and then you've got some money aside for the investment into the business. If you know overall what the business needs, or you know overall how much money you have aside for that investment, you could say, okay, I'm going to save for this period of time. This is how much investment I have to put into that business. These are the people that I need who are very capable to help me to make my business ideas a reality. Now, another thing to think about is your ad spend and how you're going to allocate that money. Now, when I looked at the industry and I looked at the reality of a consumer product that is a product that people will use, that will finish, that will need replenishing, you then have to think, okay, well, if, for example, they buy a pot of face cream, and that face cream is £25, as per my maths earlier about how to get to 100K by selling X amount of products and so on, right? So say they buy a pot of face cream, that face cream is £25. Well, the customer acquisition cost, if I were going to do ad spend, it wouldn't be the end of the world if I were to have to spend that cost on acquiring that customer, because I know and I'm confident that they're going to love the product, they're going to come back and buy more. So actually, if I have to spend £25, or at least the margin, the profit margin, in order to acquire that customer, my job now is retention. So it's all well and good building an ad campaign, but you want to get those customers in, you want to get them buying, but now you need to retain them. So then you have to think about your retention strategy, which of course doesn't necessarily need to be cost intensive, doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. It might be you calling the customer, you getting feedback, you building relationships and so on. But that is really going to help you along that journey to building lots of customers and to really help you to succeed in business. So I want you to set some budget aside for your ad spend, but I also want you to think about this checklist of things that you need to consider when you're looking at your financial plan for your business. So here we are. This is the checklist. Now, I believe in starting small with big vision. So I want you to be clear about your goals. What is your financial target? Before I talked about the fact that I want to get to 6 figures in 6 months, what is your financial target and how many products do you need to sell to make that a reality? So the first question is, what is your financial target? The second question, how many products do you need to sell to achieve that? Then, what can you do to start the business and what do you need to delegate? So what knowledge or expertise do you have that you can use and utilize to start the business, and what do you need to delegate to other experts? What is your budget for the business? How much money will you need monthly and how much money will you need to save each month to enable you to get started on this business? How much do you need to keep aside for your personal costs? And of course, what is your budget for experts? So start saving for your potential experts based on your criteria of budget, service, timeline, and so on. Now, the beauty of Fiverr is that there are experts at all different budget categories. So you want to start finding people who will align with your budget requirements and start shortlisting those people so you can have conversations, so you can understand what you need to do and who you need to select to help to build your winning team. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode of From the Ground Up. I really hope you are now starting to think about your financial plans for building your business. And of course, that you've gone over to Fiverr Business and you've started to investigate the types of experts you need in your winning team to help you start your business. I'll see you next week for more.